Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Thank you guys very much for clicking on this video. Today we are taking a look at pivot versus turn in the golf swing, and I'm going to be explaining to you a little bit more to understand how your lower body should work in the golf swing, how your hips should work, which is going to help you get more rotation in your golf swing, get more power, use the ground better, hit the ball much more consistently. And to do this, we're going to be taking a look at two of probably the best golfers in the world. We're going to be taking a look at Viktor Hovland and Tiger Woods. Now, very different golf swings, but Viktor has a bit more turn in his golf swing. Tiger has a bit more pivot in the way he uses the ground and uses his hips and pelvis. So first of all, let's dive in and let's take a look at Viktor Hovland's golf swing. So here we have Viktor Hovland set up with the driver, and after this we're going to be taking a look at Tiger to show you a comparison. Now here we have Viktor, and the thing is with turn versus pivoting in your lower body in the golf swing, we're kind of talking more about how the lower body works. So we're looking really primarily at the knees and the hips. So notice at setup here, Viktor's knees are kind of pointed fairly towards the golf ball in front of him, as you would expect. Now, as we take this club back, I just want you to pay attention to his knees. If you want to see more on Viktor Hovland's golf swing, I just released a video all about Viktor Hovland's golf swing, so you can feel free to check that out on my channel. But just pay attention to his lower body and his legs. Now watch as his knees are going to, as we take the club back, his knees are going to start to move to the right. If you look at his right knee, if we pause it kind of top of the backswing, his right knee is now pointing a little bit more back towards us, probably about roughly a 45-degree angle to the right. Now this is turn in the golf swing. This is kind of turning to the right. It's like if you were stood up and I asked you to turn to the right, you know, you're now going to be facing towards the right. Your knees, hips, everything's going to be facing towards the right. So this is kind of turning the lower body, and Viktor does a very good job with this. I will explain a little bit what you should do in the golf swing. Should you turn, should you pivot, and why you should do maybe each one. But Viktor does a very good job of this. Normally a turn in the golf swing, and this is something I've struggled with, had more turn than pivot in my golf swing. It's easier as golfers, when we want to take the club back, it's easier to turn than it is to pivot, because pivoting uses it coils up our body a bit more. It puts a bit more strain and tightness through our body, but that actually, if we can create a good pivot, this enables us to engage more muscles in our body, use the ground better, and deliver the club a little bit more consistently. So let's have a look at this turn in Viktor Hovland's golf swing. Now, as we take it down to the ball, we're going to see he's going to have to reposition these knees as he starts to squat, and the knees have to shift now more to the left. And then if we pause it, impact, now we can see that right knee is pointing kind of towards the left of the golf ball, almost at a 45-degree angle the other direction. So it's kind of moved about 90 degrees total. Now Viktor's done a very good job of getting his body into a good position here. The only thing I would say is he has a little bit of curvature in the spine, and that is something you see a little bit more with the turn in the golf swing. It's harder to maintain your spine angle. And as we take this through, he rotates, jumps up off the ground, rotates a huge amount, and we can see now his knees are kind of pointed towards the target. Well, let's just take a look at that again. Let's just play through Viktor Hovland's golf swing again, and just notice, just pay special attention to his lower body. I won't pause it for you guys. Just notice that leg movement, how his knees will move to the right, then back to the left as they reposition. Now, there's a few little issues with this, which I've struggled with in my swing, but before we get into that, let's take a look at Tiger. Let's take a look at Tiger set up with the driver, and I'm going to show you this clip because Tiger's wearing shorts and you can actually see his knees in this clip, so it's a bit easier to look. So first of all, paused it set up here, excellent setup position. Both of Tiger's knees pointed pretty much forward, pretty much towards the golf ball in front of him, as you'd expect. Now, if we look at Tiger as he takes this club away, slowly takes his club away. Pay attention to his knees, pay attention to his lower body as he gets to the top of the backswing. If we pause it here, the knees are pretty much still pointed almost directly in front of him where they were at the start of this golf swing, which, you know, is very, very contrasting to Viktor Hovland's. So what does that mean? How are Tiger's legs and knees working, and how, you know, how is he pivoting versus turning? So let me explain this to you very quickly and very simply. If you imagine the hips as the hips are a ball and socket joint. So this is your hip joint here. This is the ball in the socket joint. As you know, if I'm looking towards you, this is me and my golf swing, I'm looking towards you. As I take the club away, we want to pivot in the hips and turn the hips. And it's a lot easier if we move everything to the right than it is if I try and move my hips to the right but keep my knee and leg pointed directly at you. It's a lot easier to move everything than it is to just move the hips and coil against the hips and get the pelvis in a more kind of at a more of an angled position. But why should you pivot versus turn in the golf swing? Well, if you turn everything to the right, there's no tension being created. You're not really engaging many muscles in your legs and your glutes and in your pelvis, or, you know, throughout the spine of the body. You're not really kind of engaging those muscles. You're not really using your kinetic energy to hit the golf ball. You're kind of more, and you'll see this with people who turn versus pivot in their golf swing. People who turn will typically have a longer golf swing, and typically they would probably have a bit of a reverse pivot in their golf swing, meaning maybe their hips kind of shift more to the right and their spine angle gets kind of tilted the wrong way. But if you pivot in your golf swing and turn the hips, you're now engaging the muscles, you're creating some tension in those muscles, storing that tension, that kinetic energy, and pivoting in the hips allows you to then pivot more through the spine, create more tension. And if you try this, it will feel more restrictive and it will feel tighter. You won't be able to get the club as long at the top. It will be a shorter golf swing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you'll actually feel more pressure into the ground. You'll feel more pressure into your right leg. And if you're doing this correctly and trying to keep that right knee pointed pretty much straight, or both knees pointed pretty much straight, but turning the hips into that right hip, you should feel pressure going through the inside of your right foot. Ideally, that's where you'd want to feel it, inside of your right foot, and you'll feel more engagement of your right glute, your right leg, your legs pressing into the ground. You'll feel that tension, you know, as if you were about to do some kind of squat or something, where you're really engaging those muscles ready for that movement. So let's take a look at how Tiger comes down now. As Tiger starts to swing down into the ball, he doesn't really have to shift the knees so much. He's able to clear the left hip and shift a bit more weight onto his left side. And if we pause it at impact, his right knee is probably not pointed so far to the left as Viktor's was, but he's got more of his weight onto his left side going through the ball. He's not kind of turning out of the way of it. Viktor doesn't get quite as much weight and pressure kind of shifted to the left through that left foot, and as Tiger does. And if we play this through, more of Tiger's weight is now on his left side as he releases that club up and in front of him. That beautiful classic Tiger Woods finish. Let's have a look at Tiger hitting an iron here. And we're going to really be able to see this really nicely with this iron swing. If we play this club back, again, notice the lower body, knees are pointed forward. And if we pause it at the top, a good indication of this is that I like to personally look at, the knees are pretty much pointed forward. But also, you can't see Tiger's belt buckle too much. You know, with Viktor's, you would have been able to see his belt buckle entirely because his hips are kind of pointed down towards you. And also, Tiger's hip angle, the angle in his hips is kind of matching his shoulders. If you look at Tiger's belt, that's kind of the angle I'm talking about. It's a bit more tilted. He's got, you know, a little bit more he has more knee bend in the right leg, keeping pressure down into the ground. Then as we play this down, he's going to get a little bit of a squat, kind of clear the left side as he comes down into impact. So if we pause it, impact, beautiful impact position where he's kind of covering the ball a little bit more, kind of shifting that weight a little bit more left. Hips are still at a very nice angle as he swings through to the finish position, guys. So now let's just have a look back at Viktor's. Now we've had a look at that. Let's have a look at Viktor Hovland hitting an iron for you guys. And this is just a great comparison. Now you know what Tiger's looks like. Let's just play this iron swing back. And we're going to notice again, if we pause it at the top, the right leg much straighter than Tiger's was. The right knee kind of pointed more back at us than Tiger's was. And, you know, it doesn't look, even though he is loaded into that right side, it kind of doesn't have the same coiled up look. And if you could see his belt buckle, you would be able to see, you know, pretty much all of it. As we play this down, he's going to really squat and turn hard. He doesn't shift as much weight left, but he does shift his weight left, obviously. He's a very good player. And if we pause this at impact, he does get into a very good position. A little bit more curvature in the spine. You can see that in the wrinkles of his shirt as we play this through to the finish. Now, I'm not saying Viktor doesn't do this well. He actually does this very incredibly well, considering how much kind of turn and sway he has in his swing. And the last thing I want to show you guys is actually my own swing, how and kind of what I'm trying to work on and feel in my swing to try and correct this. Now, I'll show you, let's just start off with an iron swing. Now, it was a lot worse in my golf swing than it is now, and it's still not perfect, so bear that in mind. Let's play this club back. Let's set up, obviously, my knees pointing forwards. Let's play this club back, and if we pause it at the top, my knees, if we look at that right knee, it's moved probably 15 degrees, maybe 20 degrees or so, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. I've got a bit more bend in the right knee too. It's something I'm still trying to work on. Ideally, I would like to keep it a little bit more fixed in place, a little bit more solid, and you wouldn't be able to see as much of kind of, you know, the front of my hips belt buckle as you would be able to here. And then if we play this down, I do squat into the ground a little bit, and if we play this through to impact, pause it, impact, again, we can see kind of right knee, again, similarly to those guys. But it has helped me maintain my posture a little bit if we play this through. I do maintain my posture quite a lot better than I used to, so that's definitely a good thing. I'm a lot happier with. It's not got me, I've always struggled early extending a little bit, and it's definitely helping me stay a little bit more, I don't know what the right way to say it is, but keeping my pelvis in the right position for a lot longer in the golf swing than I used to. And it's a lot easier to do with an iron than it is with a driver. And yeah, comment down below, guys, what do you think about that? Is there anything you feel like I might have missed? Anything you think you want to add to that? Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys or reply to all your comments. Is there anything you don't understand in that? I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And comment your thoughts down below. Who do you prefer? Viktor Hovland's golf swing, Tiger Woods? Two very different ways of doing it. I'm personally trying to more copy the leg action of Tiger. But, you know, each to their own. Everyone's bodies are different. Everyone moves in different ways. Love to hear from you guys. Comment down below. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. As always, grip it and rip it.